In one of many possible futures, it was the year 3007. Earth had been united into a single nation that ruled with a dozen other planets in relatively peaceful unity. There, Charlie-27 was born, fifth in his generation to do so on the vast planet known as Jupiter. Like his pioneer ancestors going all the way back to at least Charlie-22, Charlie-27 was genetically engineered to withstand the harsh conditions of the gas giant. Growing up here, he wound up joining Jupiter's space militia. It instilled him with a strong sense of military and a code of conduct, which he put to the test on a mission where he served for 6 months alone in a vessel on a long journey in space. During this trip, he lost contact with his Jovian overseers 4 months into the mission, and when he returned home, he was alarmed to find nobody there to greet him. The heavily colonized world was completely empty. While exploring his now abandoned home world, Charlie-27 was attacked by two Badoon, two members of a vicious alien race that had already captured the entire Jupiter population to use as slave labor. Charlie-27 was able to move fast enough to avoid their attack and shoot at one with his laser gun. He then knocked the other attacker down an incendiary garbage chute, knowing these aliens would have been just as willing to kill the augmented human. Charlie-27 further explored Jupiter, finding everyone gone and even witnessing his father being taken away with others. He followed this transportation vessel, discovering the Badoon were forcing the humans to mine radioactive materials without adequate protection, dooming these workers to an early death within a week's time. Charlie-27 was soon discovered and nearly decided to give up then and there, ready to make a last stand and die fighting the Badoon, though he quickly composed himself, evaded the attacking aliens, and instead vowed to seek help from the United Lands of Earth, the intergalactic ruling body also known as the ULE. Narrowly avoiding alien fire, Charlie-27 managed to teleport off the planet, though he was unable to set any sort of specific destination. After 2 hours of travel through space, transformed into radio energy by this advanced technology, he reappeared on Pluto, finding the station deserted, but still in working order. He was gathering some food when his presence was detected by nearby Badoon, who also successfully conquered this remote mining world. They unleashed deadly animals called Saturnian houndhawks, which were able to track down and attack Charlie-27 in an ambush that would have killed the augmented human, were he not saved at last minute by a crystalline Pluvian named Martinex. Belonging to a people that descended from the human race, and having evolved into this form to better live in Pluto's desolate environment, Martinex summoned a few robot servants to buy the two some time so they could flee to the teleporter. This managed to hold off the Badoon long enough that they could direct their next teleport to Earth, hoping to still find some surviving resistance there. However, they were not so lucky, as the Badoon Emperor Drang had firmly taken control of the entire ULE. The duo were immediately attacked by the Badoon on arriving to Earth, and though Martinex and Charlie-27 were able to knock out their attackers and steal their guns, they were then confronted by Major Vance Astro and his companion Yondu. These two were actually well regarded on Earth, to the extent they had been kept free from forced labor by the Badoon, as these aliens found Astro's story particularly amusing. Major was from the early 21st century, but had himself purposefully frozen in suspended animation to survive a long, relatively primitive and slow journey through space. He woke up 9 centuries later, hailed as a hero and long being spoken of as a legend among the human race, though he felt little in common with the people of the future, instead traveling with the man he first encountered on arriving in the 31st century, a mysterious alien named Yondu, last of his race. Yondu's people were considered primitive beyond the point of value by the Badoon, and they were intent on wiping him out until he was saved by Vance. These two attacked Charlie-27 and Martinex on sight, mistaking them for Badoon allies. Yondu proved a deadly foe, using his superhuman ability to whistle, which gave him perfect control over an arrow. Martinex was able to use his own powers to freeze the arrow in mid-air, although he was quickly knocked down by Major Astro, whose 1,000-year journey gave him tremendous control over psychic energies. Charlie-27 attacked Major only for the two to realize they were both enemies of the Badoon, and the four stopped fighting as more of these invaders arrived. Now united as one, they battled the Badoon together and managed to flee Earth. Learning the Badoon invasion was so widespread that only one free colony was rumored to survive, they traveled to the world of New York, said to be the worst hit of all human-controlled planets, but also the supposed birthplace of the freedom movement among humans. Finding nothing but a ruined world, Major Vance Astro nonetheless felt encouraged and determined that these four could work together as a new group to find the free colony. With Charlie-27 joining in, Astro led them in singing a version of the gospel song We Shall Overcome he had altered for their own situation. And with that, this iteration of the Guardians of the Galaxy was born. 7 years later, in the year 3014, heroes from the 20th century known as Captain America, Sharon Carter, and the Thing all mysteriously arrived, having traveled through time to this era. They were quickly found and brought to the Badoon Emperor Drang himself. Using a memory probe, these aliens were able to determine that the heroes came from the past after meeting a woman named Terran from the future. Terran told them of the Badoon invasion and that the Guardians of the Galaxy in the 31st century will use Captain America's name and symbol as inspiration for their freedom fighting a millennia from that time. Inspired by the Guardians and enraged at the actions of the Badoon, Steve Rogers came here with Sharon Carter and Ben Grimm to battle these aliens, only for them to quickly fall to a giant monster controlled by the Badoon. Bolstered by a mind-controlled race of enslaved humans called Zoms, the Badoon had maintained a powerful position over Earth and surrounding space over the last several years, in spite of the Guardians' best efforts. The three heroes escaped thanks to the Thing's quick thinking and enormous strength, causing chaos as they battled their way out of Badoon custody and into the streets of a, to them at least, futuristic Manhattan. News of this quickly reaches those resisting Badoon enslavement, and the humans promptly contact the Guardians of the Galaxy. In the years since this team was initially founded, Charlie-27 had developed a new costume for himself and bonded with his teammates as each felt they were the last of their kind. Charlie earned acclaim among the beleaguered human race thanks to his heroism, and as the last known surviving Jovian augmented human, he became renowned for his enhanced strength and remarkable physiology, possessing a mass of over 11 times greater than that of the average human, and bolstering an incredible level of stamina far beyond what anyone would be capable of today. On being contacted by Earth, Major Vance was quick to recognize Captain America from his time, and eagerly rushed the rest of the team home. Charlie in particular readily agreed with this decision, ready to face the Badoon head-on after spending most of their time up until now apparently unable to face their foes directly. The Guardians arrived on Earth and quickly found the other heroes surrounded by Badoon warriors. Using his heavy-handed fighting skills that largely at this time relied on brute force, amplified by his unique body, Charlie-27 proved more than effective against these enemies, joining in with the others in taking them down. With the other humans, they attacked Badoon headquarters, during which Charlie-27 and the Thing worked together in knocking out the monster of Badoon. After hours of fighting, the humans, Guardians, and time-traveling heroes proved victorious, and Emperor Drang was ultimately captured. Though Drang pointed out that Badoon forces were still controlling this entire sector of the galaxy, the Thing and Captain America promised that the Badoon Empire was doomed so long as the human race was still around. The next day, the three heroes of the past were returned home. All offered a fond farewell for their actions in saving the human race living in this time period. Within a year, however, Charlie-27 traveled back in time with the rest of the Guardians of the Galaxy on board their vessel, known as the Starship Captain America, in search of a lost helmet. This device contained a trove of information vital to their ongoing war against the Badoon, as it documented a fight from this time period where the Silver Surfer defeated these aliens. Charlie-27 encountered a group of muggers, a surprising sight to the man from the future, though he was warned by Vance that people of this time more frequently committed assault against each other. In the 31st century, this would be considered a dire crime to be taken extremely seriously, so he quickly knocked the criminals unconscious, careful not to harm them, as though the hero was willing to kill Badoon in self-defense, he had been raised to treat human life of all kinds as a precious thing worth preserving. Determining the mugging victim to still be alive but injured, he decided to risk exposing himself to the human race's past so that he might save the stranger and find a medical attention. He took the man to a hospital where the authorities tried to hold Charlie for questioning, understandable given the augmented human's strange appearance. He fled the scene dismayed at the situation, with his enhanced physiology allowing him to leap farther and faster than your average Earthling, and thus easily able to outmaneuver the police. Now on the run, Charlie-27 then quietly witnessed a group of heroes from this time called the Defenders, battling an alien telepath called Elar. He admired their valiant efforts against this powerful foe, and wanted to join in and help, but he did not dare risk exposing himself any more than he already had to this early period in Earth's timeline. He only revealed himself when the rest of the Guardians arrived, having teamed up with the superhero Nighthawk, though this accidentally gave Elar the chance to flee the scene. While the Defenders pursued this villain, the Guardians quietly slipped away and found the piece of technology they were after that contained the information they needed to secure victory. However, on inspection, Charlie-27 found the device had been emptied. They realized this was connected to the appearance of Elar, who was actually an ordinary Earth electric eel that encountered the device underwater and was transformed after the helmet programmed this creature to mindlessly attack everyone on sight, filling his mind with a trove of Badoon war propaganda and information. So the Guardians decided to introduce themselves formally to the Defenders, knowing they would need the help. Their leader, Dr. Strange, was able to deduce the nature of the Guardians of the Galaxy as beings from a possible future, and agreed to work together with them, even if they proved a tantalizing mystery to the Sorcerer Supreme. Together, the heroes were able to overwhelm Elar, pummeling the monster, with Charlie-27 delivering the final blow that sent this being to the ground. Though Valkyrie of the Defenders wished to slay the being on sight, Dr. Strange was instead able to revert Elar back to his original form, and they returned it to the ocean. The Guardians were invited to Stephen's Sanctum Sanctorum, where they explained their origins, though Major despairs at the notion they failed their mission in the past. With the Defenders ruefully unable to help any further, they instead turned their attention on returning the Guardians home. So yeah, that's the first few issues surrounding Charlie-27. I wanted to just look into some of these other characters after watching Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and kind of stumbled onto him, and he just looked so weird I couldn't help myself but check him out and learn a little bit more about this character. It was pretty fun actually, and these comics were a bit of a fun little novelty as a bit of old school Marvel adventures. They weren't that bad actually, and if you want me to make more Charlie-27 videos, I'd be happy to, so let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, let me know what other characters you'd like to see me cover in the future. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time on Comic Island.